Yeah, I should bring you boys out here more often.
You know, I'm really enjoying this. You should teach Tahz how to do this one day.
Yeah, but you like that?
He is so attached to you. You will never know how lucky we feel to have you.
It's a fantastic short film. I really, really enjoyed watching it. I know from the very beginning, I was so curious about Tahz. Like, I wondered so much about him, his story, his family life. And, you know, like, there was definitely this very, like, weird tension at home. Especially his relationship with his brother. Like, we want to know why Tahz has like this very fearful aura about him, especially when he's around his brother. I also think the parent-teacher conversation was interesting. It seems like the mom doesn't know her son nearly as much as she thinks she does. Like, she came there expecting to hear one thing, and then the teacher told her something completely different. And, you know, I became so invested in Tahz, and I wanted to know so much about him, and I wanted him to be happy and free. And we never exactly find out what happened. And I think that's also powerful in itself because it leaves a lot up to interpretation. And the ending was also very satisfying because he does get away. And all I can do is hope that he does find like happiness and peace. So yeah, I really enjoyed this short film.
You know, we've all seen pieces about dysfunctional families, but this one was very surprising for me because I didn't know that we were going there. I knew that there was some underlying tension and some sort of dysfunction, but I didn't know that was going to be the driving force of it. And I thought it was done in a really interesting manner. The themes of stifling oneself and ultimately stifling one's voice to fit in was so present, and how things can escalate and fester when they're allowed to lay under the surface. Ultimately led to that beautiful final scene of him on the open waters. It felt like almost taking charge of his own destiny. And yeah, it was a very interesting piece. And one narratively I hadn't seen or thought of before.
This was a very unique film, showing an extremely dysfunctional family, but dysfunctional in an unconventional way. Or in just a way that like we haven't really seen or explored before, at least none that I have. All of the characters were brilliant, and I think that they made very strong choices. It was fascinating to watch, and I think this was a really strong piece.
A very complex story of a family and inner struggles and demons that exist within personalities. I think the actors did a nice job in creating and developing their characters through the piece. I particularly really appreciate the effort by the teacher and the character Tahz. I thought they did a real nice subtle approach to their character and kind of gave them that depth. Thought the camera work was nice, the lighting was great, the sound was good, and think they just overall achieved a strong film.
Complicated family dynamic that is going on in a family of four, and shows the power of our voice, even if we're not using it always as liberally as other people may expect or may wish we are. Standout performances for me in this piece are definitely from the actress portraying the teacher, who shows just great demonstration of all the necessary tools that a teacher should use when speaking to a troubled student, being open and communicative, but also clear and assertive when necessary that they are here for whatever that student may need. I thought it was a great example to those aspiring to be educators. And the other standout performance being most certainly Tahz himself. The young voice shows a lot of nuance in his performance and understanding of quiet and subtle moments and the big impact they can have altogether on how an audience takes in a piece of art. It's a really great piece that I think speaks to a lot of families all around the world.
I thought this one was a fine little piece of family drama. The filmmakers do a really good job at taking us into this family's house, showing us a bit about how they tick, and just sort of exploring the emotional and mental well-being of this young boy. I think they do it really tastefully and delicately. There's just some really touching moments in this one. There's some great work going on both in front of and behind the lens.
Kudos to the filmmakers, because I could feel the toxicity that Tahz was dealing with through my screen. I was feeling it too. There was such contempt in that house. I felt like every positive thing had to have a punishment later, to balance it out. Would also be somewhat punishable down the line. The relationship that he has with his brother is definitely worth the risk to run. And Tahz's actor actually did a remarkable job within the role. Very mature role for a child, but beautifully performed here. This reminds me of that feeling that you get when you're stuck in a toxic relationship or friendship or work situation and you just long for escape. I really like the end scene on the boat, because finally Tahz has a moment to himself to breathe. Whether or not he gets caught later still needs to be determined, but maybe he can, be taken in by a family who has more love to give.
Features very many themes, including enmeshment, intimidation, favoritism, family detachment, and the tense and tone and overall mood of the picture, I thought was very much determined by not only by the music and score, but also by the very impressive sound effects, as well as the very impressive acting throughout the film. When it comes to acting, I would like to talk primarily about Bobby Slasky's performance of Emerson. Emerson makes this a very unusual family in that the older brother is not only trying to be the parent, but feels empowered enough to do so, which I thought was a genius dynamic to throw into this already turbulent and dysfunctional family. I would also like to credit the actress Susan Jordan de Leon for her performance as the once oblivious, now realizing mother, and I love that camera turn where we really get to see her inner reaction towards this. Compared with the impatient father, who was marvelously played by Carl Bacchus, I really liked his lack of empathy, which really spoke volumes about what it must be like to be a child in an abusive family.
This movie did a lot of things really, really well. It definitely left me curious and I had questions, but that also means that I was in it and it captured my attention and I cared about the characters, so I thought that was obviously a great sign. When it first started, I was so unsure of the actual dynamics that were going on, so I thought that was really kind of well played, just that opening scene on the boat. And then as you start to watch it, the dynamics get much clearer, much faster. What happens next? But overall, I thought it was really good. I thought it was really powerful. I thought the acting, especially of Tahz, was so great because there are a lot of really intense concepts and things that are being implied and going on. And I thought that he did a really great job. Like I said, the story really got to me. I want to know more.